I need you to download those.
Yep.
6 games. Throw them in your folder, and we'll start with
there.
We'll start with Stierker.
Okay. In terms of segmentation of the podcast, I don't know how they usually do it in your sports, but I think we should keep it pretty top light. How many minutes do you think we have lead up into the games before people get bored? And folks, they are quite close.
Eco Kitty went from 1 to 2 to now 11 to 2.
She's trying to pick off that manga now. She's so close.
She's gonna get it. Flatshit has no way to build scouts to defend against this.
Those cabbages just falling prey to these camels. And now there are so many camels in the base. Too many. Right, let's go. Do you have like a bell? A ring that spikes your mic every time I screw up?
I don't have anything.
Welcome to Kings of Age. This is the official podcast for the Kings League, the only league in Age of Empires 2 with an official podcast. How was that?
That was good. That was almost slander, but then you pulled it out, so it was nice.
I'm thinking I won't include the almost slander part.
It's too late.
What do you think? Do you think it's wise?
Too late. It's already there. All of this goes in.
It's already there.
I'm not editing anything.
That's the goal. I am Malagasy Maki, and I am here with my amigo Boxer Saint. Boxer, how are you today?
I'm great. I was told on the ASAP Weekly podcast I need like an introduction phrase. I don't
do you
know.
Want me to give you one?
Give me one. What should a Boxer Saint intro phrase? Like when you say
What does box? So you want an introduction line? I have a couple, but I don't say them off stream because they're easily misinterpreted.
All right.
By people that don't get what we're doing over on stream.
I'll hear it.
So whenever somebody follows me, I say welcome to the community of lemurs.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
And then
I don't think it applies to my side.
Hold on. It's a two-parter. And then when someone subscribes to me, I go, welcome. And then I look around really sneakily and then like put my hand up like I'm whispering a secret. And I lean forward and go, to the conspiracy of lemurs. Because the group of lemurs is called Conspiracy. And somehow lemurs ended up being the mascot of my stream for reasons I have yet to fully understand why.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that lemurs are called Conspiracy.
Yeah, which is why it's so funny to me.
What are a group of saints? Just the church?
A group of saints?
The church? Welcome to the church of... Welcome to the Church of Boxer.
The church. A church, I feel like... I like the idea of you more having like a dojo. I think it gives you a nice triangle of branding. Because you have Saint... like because if you imagine like Boxer Saint is basically like a Kung Fu Zen master, but because you have two Western references, throwing in that Eastern reference, something like Box Dojo, like Boxer's Dojo, or something like that.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Okay.
I thought also with Boxer, like just a phrase would be like, hey Boxer, how you doing? Still swinging? Is that a good
swinging?
Still swinging?
I like it because the key with a good catchphrase is you have to think about every perspective you could ever be saying it from. So imagine you're in like the 9th round of an actual boxing match and you're just sweating and you can't see straight. It sounds like, Boxer, how are you doing? And you go, still swinging.
I kind of thought if I was like on a tree or something, or if I was sitting in a swing, it was out there swinging. But I don't know. Maybe that'll be it.
You took it to a place of cuteness. That's very marketable.
Still swinging. How are you doing, Boxer? Still swinging. Anyway, Mackie, Kings League. Tell the folks what Kings League is. Why should they be excited about this?
It's hard to understate the significance of something like Kings League existing. Right now, the fans of Age of Empires 2 want to see the game at its purest, and they want to see it over a season. And the reason that I say this is because we all understand there are people behind the computers. So who is telling those stories? Those are the stories we hope to bring you while watching these games. So you'll be following us as we watch 24 players move towards a playoff series and finals with a prize pool
of question mark dollars.
Of question mark dollars. Here's the thing. All of these players are professional players. However, they're just not professional Age of Empires players. So these are professional players of life, Boxer. These are people that we have picked. They have come to us and expressed their ability to destroy. These are people who feel in their heart they could be a professional player if they only had the chance, and this is their chance. I have had conversations with many of these people. A lot of them say that they are going for 2K ELO. They are going for top 300. They want to be one of the best players in the world. And this is their proving grounds.
That's right. We have a group of 24 players. ELOs range from 1,000 up to, what do you say top ELO is? 1,400, 1,500?
1,550?
15,
so
15,
I think, yeah. So one thing I immediately want to say to people is over the course of the season, look for improvements. And I think that is what the community is hungry for. They want to see players growing. And what better way to showcase that than having players consistently playing the same group of people in the same conferences, in the same league until the playoffs, where they can apply all of that wisdom they've gained over the season into some heavy hitter games.
Here's what I'm excited about. These are players that will play games like the games I play, like the games you play. When we watch the 2K players, they're amazing. They're great. We all know they're good at this game. Their games do not ebb and flow like my games do. There's only so much I can learn from watching them play because the guys that I play with, they're going to act a lot more irrational than the 2K opponents. And then that randomness just makes things different. It makes for a different game. Not a better game, not a worse game, but a different game than what they're playing at 2K. In this league, during this season, you're going to see games that are probably more applicable to you. And we'll be here to help critique and walk through those games. To give a quick rundown, we've broken these players apart into 6 conferences. Those are ELO-based conferences. The lowest conference is going to average about a 1K ELO, and then the highest conference will average 1,500 probably. And then you've got everything in between. So some real wild games in the lower conferences and probably some more standard procedural games in the higher conferences, I assume. We'll see when we get into it. These players, within their conference, there's 4 players in a conference. They will play each other twice. So they will play the other 3 players twice throughout the season. And then they'll have two games from outside their conference. Tonight we have
wild cards, folks. Wild cards.
Absolutely wild. Their ultimate goal is to get into the playoffs. We'll have a 16-person playoff. We'll talk about that more later in the season, how that's going to work out. But that's their goal, to get into the playoffs, to play in the playoff tournament. And tonight we see the beginning of that. So, Mac, are you ready to get into some games?
Absolutely, Boxer.
This text I have up is absolutely false. I forgot to change it. So, for those on the podcast, it won't matter. For those on the YouTube, this will not be Mason Windu and Teapot. That's not even their civs. I just made stuff up. That's not who we're playing. We're actually going to watch Yo-Yo Dude and Steerker. To give you a quick rundown of those 2 players, all of these players drafted civs. They each have 1 unique civ, and they each have 2 civs that might be shared across a couple of other players. In addition to the 3 civs they drafted, they have 1 home map that they drafted, and each player for each game will be playing on their home map or on the default map, which is Arabia. The home player chooses. These are not best of threes. These are just single one-off games throughout the season. And to give you the drafts, first up we have Yo-Yo Dude coming in with Turks as his unique civ. He also has Incas and Bulgarians as his civs, and Ghost Lake is his home map. Yo-Yo Dude is playing at home, and we will be playing on Ghost Lake. Good to go. So like I said, we have Steerker playing Berbers. That is his unique civ that he drafted. We have Yo-Yo Dude in the green playing Bulgarians. That is not his unique civ. It's one of the civs he shares with a few other players. Mackie, what do you know about these two players?
Right. Well, I do want to talk a little bit about why Yo-Yo Dude's unique civ is the Turks. And for those that are joining us for the first time, when we refer to unique civs, every player in the Kings League has access to a civilization that they chose that no one else has access to. That's why we call it the unique civ. In addition to that, they have 2 backup civilizations that other players did have an additional chance to draft into their roster. So right now, Yo-Yo Dude, who has picked Bulgarians, he usually picks Turks. That's why he went for the Turks. So just a little explainer for those just joining us. But right now, I'm feeling really excited for Yo-Yo Dude. If he wants to go for a fast castle, like he often does with the Turks, he's got a map here that looks quite easy to wall off. You can see this wood line here on the left is stretching out and just about to kiss that other one. There basically is a 1 palisade gap. If he closes that and then gets a few short walls on the right side of his base, he has a safe gold and a completely untouchable wood line.
Why do you think Yo-Yo chose this as his home map? So each player got one home map. He does like to fast castle with the Turks. What about this map you think it made it appealing to him?
I think what this map does for Yo-Yo Dude is it prevents an overcomplication of the game. So Yo-Yo Dude is a player who's very comfortable on arena, and he likes to go for those strats like the fast imp Turks. Ghost Lake is a map that, while not as closed as arena, can actually be played like a closed map because you're having so much of the map pretty much useless, especially when your civilizations are this close. And folks, they are quite close. There's a large portion of this map that might not see any action.
In case you guys missed it, we do have a villager down from Yo-Yo Dude, killed by the boar.
That is just embarrassing. Oh no.
And then Steerker brought in his boar pretty easily, as well as a lot of sheep.
He has a lot of sheep.
Looks like more than half of the sheep on Ghost Lake. So as you know from Ghost Lake, there are a lot of sheep walking around on the ice. Steerker took advantage of that. He's going to have a lot more food than Yo-Yo will.
The thing is, Yo-Yo was going for those sheep as well. So the fact that Steerker got so many, I think, is indicative of something here. I mean, Steerker is a very high APM player, so look out for his micro goddery. On the other hand, I think Yo-Yo Dude will be looking to execute a pretty clean build, which is why it's so tough to see him lose that villager. His timing will likely be affected, and perhaps his push won't be as strong as he would like if he does go for some early aggression. To counteract that, though, he's currently pushing in deer with his scout. I'm just checking now to see if Steerker is, and it looks like Steerker pushed 1.
See how smooth this deer take is. Pretty good. Into the TC and out. That's a move that I find difficult to perform when you know that deer is going to run off any second.
Especially if you are trying to micro every aspect of your economy. If you're trying to make sure that every villager is on an efficient side of your mill, or you're not doubling up vills on trees in ways that sort of get them to bump into each other. But Yo-Yo Dude is constructing a barracks now as he continues to push deer, but this one decides it's going to walk back home.
Idle TC time identical for these two players, right at 18 seconds.
Yep, and the only issue now is Yo-Yo is down a villager because he lost that early one to the boar.
Steerker is getting Loom. Yo-Yo already has Loom. He's going up at 21 pop. Steerker is going up at 23 pop. Oh, Steerker just took Yo-Yo's scout.
And things are just going from bad to worse for Yo-Yo. It looks like he wants to try and take back some control of the tempo of this game. He did grab a little bit of gold, and he's going to start making militia. Only queuing up one so far, but let's see if he gets more.
Got Steerker's scout under the TC.
Yeah. Yo-Yo goes for a shot.
He's going to make it out.
Yeah, Steerker takes some damage over micros his scout unnecessarily there, perhaps trying to style on Yo-Yo. I think that's something where you just really don't want to lose your scout under your opponent's TC right after you got theirs, so you kind of overthink it a bit.
So we got walls coming up from Steerker on the north. Both these players are on the west side of this frozen lake. Yo-Yo in the north, Steerker in the south. Steerker's going to get really walled in. I wonder why he's not hitting this wood line. Well, he doesn't know about it. So he's got very easy walls up here if he hits that wood line, but he's not scouted it yet. 3 men-at-arms coming in from Yo-Yo to Steerker. They could get in, but he hasn't scouted enough to see. So scouting very important here.
Yep, and a villager is coming in to repair the palisade that is currently being attacked by the 3 men-at-arms. Yo-Yo dude decides to transition those men-at-arms, has moved them to a different palisade, actually splits them now. He's trying to get in at 2 places at once with his army, has one of those men-at-arms attacking a house, and Steerker is making a range, an archery range behind this, so probably going to try and deal with these men-at-arms using archers.
Steerker also has some men-at-arms up at Yo-Yo's base. He's taking him off berries. Yo-Yo has no walls whatsoever. And Yo-Yo is almost in, but probably not going to make it. Archer's out for Steerker to defend.
This is really tough.
Again, Steerker is open on the east and the south.
Yeah, and he was open. Yeah, he was open on the west, like you were saying. He is. Yeah, you're right. He is in. But what is Steerker paying attention to? Because it looks like it's not this villager. Yo-Yo has almost killed this villager, but it looks like it could escape. I think it will get away. Yeah, it does make it out safely. And Yo-Yo about to lose one of his men-arms. He's still trying to get kills on these villagers, though, and he does take down one, which is huge.
Steerker has killed. I'm trying to figure out this KD. Must be some military deaths over here.
Well,
Eco KD is 1-to-1. So basically they're even now.
And Archer's now coming forward for Steerker. Still has 2 men-at-arms, and they're attacking the berries of Yo-Yo dude. They almost kill a villager already, but the villager escapes. He's bringing his scout in now from the left flank, but everything gets him safely. And those archers, Boxer, are now going to that wood line on the left. Yo-Yo sees it, though. He's running.
Pulls back to his back wood line. He at least has a very secure wood line back there. That won't impact him too much. Still no intention to wall from Yo-Yo dude. No indication that he's going to wall at all. 2 ranges up for Steerker.
Yep, and Yo-Yo is making scouts. Has 2 out right now. I'm a little nervous for Yo-Yo. 4 archers, 2 men-at-arms, and a low HP scout forward for Steerker as more archers are coming in from the base of the Berber player, and the Bulgarians are facing a tough challenge in their first map while on their home Ghost Lake.
Yo-Yo considered a tower in the back and then thought better of it. He dropped it and deleted it.
It might have been one of those situations where you'd like to have that tower forward, but you don't have the opportunity to place it there anymore. Sometimes you need to place a tower just to make sure they can't take all of your resources away, effectively squeezing you out of the game.
So Yo-Yo's back on this western wood line, and Styrker keeps hitting it.
That one wood line that is completely safe for Yo-Yo is keeping him in this game right now, because Styrker is going to find it very challenging to push him off of that wood line.
Nobody's close to castle yet. We're 17 minutes into the game.
And Yo-Yo, trying to make it out with his scouts, almost loses one in the process. Styrker did bring a spearman forward and is trying to take out this scout as it runs by. Is he going to see it? He walks right by it. Oh, but he sees it now.
Military counts are 17 to 1.
Yo-Yo.
Now 17 to 0.
Yeah, because Yo-Yo just lost both of those scouts.
And most of the action has been in Yo-Yo's base. But because of that, Styrker now has 2 minutes of idle TC time compared to just under a minute for Yo-Yo.
I mean, Boxer, look at this. How many villagers have we seen killed by Styrker at this point? But Yo-Yo's actually even in villagers. And that's why idle villager time is so key. The working town center of Yo-Yo Dude is keeping him in this game right now. Styrker, think about that. Over 6 villagers worth of idle TC time.
Thank you. We have another raid from Legion of Loom with 24 raiders. Thank you guys for coming.
Goodness.
This is the inaugural game of the Kings League, an 8-game tournament with 24 players, 8-game league with 24 players, heading into a playoff in June. These are two of our higher
sports now.
These are two of our higher elo players, Yo-Yo Dude and Styrker. We're playing on Yo-Yo's home map, which is Ghost Lake. We've got Berbers from Styrker, which we haven't pointed out. Berbers normally a night civ. Styrker's gone archers.
And this is good for Yo-Yo Dude because he's been able to keep up his economy, not going too far down in villagers. He's gotten out a few skirmishers, and those are doing so much work. They've killed a fair number of these archers on the right side, but at the same time, Styrker, the Berbers player, has just been massing them on the left, and though he's not really moving with them, you have to think that Yo-Yo Dude is feeling a lot of pressure as he has a lot of exposed farms if those archers can find a way to them. And Styrker, the first one to click Castle Age, 20% of the way there already. Yo-Yo Dude is not even close. Only 200 food, 150 gold. He does have 16 farms, and he almost has wheelbarrow. But will he be able to survive an initial onslaught from the Berbers? And Boxer, will it be knights like you said? And it looks like it will be a stable coming forward now for Styrker. He has 2 stables coming up, in addition to 2 ranges and a barracks already produced. Still, he's getting padded archer armor. Halfway to castle now for Styrker.
Do you think it goes?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you think it goes cav archer? Just to get that padded archer armor, but I don't know why we would go 2 stables. Surely he goes into knights here.
I think he absolutely goes into knights here because right now it's all skirmishers taking an engagement here. Yo-Yo Dude is microing his way towards the archers. Does he see that armor is on? He's taking a good engagement. I think Styrker maybe could have fought this. I'm not sure. It depends on the micro, but with Styrker's micro, I think he maybe could have fought this. And Yo-Yo's pushing him away.
Almost as if Yo-Yo feels it, he's putting down a market. He's going to buy his way up. He knows
he needs to.
He knows that he's going to be behind. He can fill that Castle Age.
And he clicks up the Castle Age just after his opponent reaches it. And housed now for Yo-Yo Dude. A bad time as he's producing skirmishers from 2 archers.
Yeah, Bloodlines and Knights coming out. Bloodlines and Knights coming out.
Yep, and crossbow. Surely Styrker's going to turn. Oh! And just before crossbow comes in, Yo-Yo Dude somehow magically disappears with his skirmishers. Steerker can't find a fight now.
That's so
I
good.
think Yo-Yo Dude, yeah, I think he sensed those knights coming.
That's an insane intuition.
Mm-hmm.
So Vil counts are now basically even. But Yo-Yo's still coming up in Castle H, so he will get behind in Vils. Eco KD 5-1 in favor of Steerker right now in the blue.
Look at this base design from Yo-Yo Dude. It's so compact. How do crossbows push into this? Steerker has knights on the field, and he cannot find a way into Yo-Yo's economy.
He does have this one palisade wall on the southwestern side.
It is the weakest spot by far. Does he see it, though? And if he does, he doesn't see it. He hasn't even guessed that there could be a way there. Sees it now. Oh, and immediately goes for it. And there aren't any villagers nearby from Yo-Yo Dude. He's taken them off of those farms and put them on wood. And all of a sudden, Steerker is through. It's a small back door, but it is a way into the eco.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Bodkin in now for Yo-Yo, just for the defensive arrows. Also for the skirmishers, of course, but how long are those skirmishers going to last against those knights?
Yeah, they're not even elite skirmisher. Elite skirmisher won't be in for another 20 seconds.
And what does Yo-Yo make? He's in a very difficult position here. Elite skirmisher is up now. Barracks is down, though. Steerker is trying to micro 2 knights against this whole army, while the rest of his knights destroy buildings. But is now the opportunity for Steerker to strike. And Boxer, where do you think Yo-Yo takes this?
Well, he needs to get on something with gold, right? Maybe monks would be good to grab those knights, but there's not a ton of knights. Oh no, there they are. There actually is a ton of knights. A couple of monks would be good.
He's going for this extraordinarily aggressive second town center, but where else does he have to put it? He needs space.
That does give him some more real estate. He's literally fighting knights with skirms, and I don't know how.
Love this.
Taking a couple of crossbow. Forward siege from Steerker might change the fight if we can get a mangonel out.
So close to getting that town center up. It makes it up, Boxer.
As we get deeper into this game, you start to see resources being floated. 700 wood for Yo-Yo, 400 wood for Steerker. Town center's up, and we'll fight off this little push. Again, knights and crossbows for Steerker against skirmishers and a knight from Yo-Yo Dude.
Very tough.
Camels coming out for Steerker and a mangonel. Mangonel's attacking that forward town center.
Yep.
That's basically protecting this clumped in base for Yo-Yo Dude. Absolutely no action happening at Steerker's base since those men-at-arms died.
Do you think that is going to cause Yo-Yo trouble? I mean, Steerker, it seems like he's been so busy focusing on his forward military. You can see the wood lines need to be refreshed there with new lumber camps.
Now, obviously, the skirmishers are a good answer for the crossbows, and the crossbows will be wiped out right here. Steerker will be down to a knight and mangonel army, which is not terrible if you're Berbers.
No, he just needs to find a start to actually push this force out, because like you were saying, I don't think just skirmishers is going to cut it. Ooh. No matter how many they are. What'd you see?
Stirker or Yo-Yo Dude took one knight to go take out a mangonel. A monk was protecting it. Monk tried to get the conversion, didn't get it. So Stirker lost the monk and almost lost the mangonel.
Look at this. He goes, and then the villager comes in to repair the mangonel. Yo-Yo goes straight back for it with one more knight, and Stirker somehow isn't noticing this.
Oh, he will get the mangonel. So 2 mangonels down for Stirker. Yo-Yo's just barely holding on. Military numbers 12 to 19 in favor of Stirker.
Ooh. How much of the eco idle for Yo-Yo right now? All inside that town center trying to fire arrows at these invaders. But at the end of the day, somehow Yo-Yo is still hanging in there, is getting a 3rd town center up now on the right side. Stirker's still at 3 town centers. Villager count though, I mean Boxer.
76 for Stirker, 56 for Yo-Yo. Total pop, 95 to 66, Stirker's favor. Not looking good. Not over, but not looking good.
Not over. Not looking good.
Defensive mangonel out for Yo-Yo Dude. 2 mangonels from Stirker just pounding that forward TC.
Oh, and the skirmishers are down.
For some reason,
yeah.
mangonel's under Yo-Yo's town center. I don't know why.
This is, yep. I mean, I think Stirker's out microing himself. It seems like he goes in halfway to the mangonel, takes one shot, and then runs away. I think he's a little nervous to fight this. What I do like though is he has mixed the monk again into the army. His army has taken a lot of damage, so they've pulled back to this forward siege workshop, and they're getting healed up by this monk now. I think a couple more monks could help a lot. Meanwhile, the mangonel is trying to keep Yo-Yo's villagers off of this pile of stone, because Yo-Yo Dude is probably desperate to get at least a Krepos up, as another mangonel looks to be going down for Stirker.
Yeah, he just kept letting those mangonels go under the TC. No reason for that. We now have archers out for Yo-Yo. I don't... Feudal archers, not even crossbows.
Well, Bulgarians don't get crossbow, so there's no future in that line for him.
Maybe he meant to make skirms and he clicked the wrong button.
I don't, at this point though, if he's making skirms, it's because he just has literally nothing else. He needs to get up. So he has a stable. Okay, but Boxer, look at this. He's going for a 4th town center. I think Yo-Yo Dude has done something really interesting here. I think he's recognized that Stirker just cannot figure out how to push his position. This siege for Stirker has stalled out, and you can tell he looks like he's getting a little frustrated. Yo-Yo Dude is taking advantage of this to get up more town centers, but just as that 4th town center comes up, Stirker brings these knights around, finds the market. I don't know, and he's definitely seen the town centers now.
Yeah, he didn't know about them beforehand. Now he's found them, and he's going to fight under 2 town centers at once.
Yeah.
Not advisable.
Not a ton of villagers there for Yo-Yo.
Just clicked up to Imp.
Okay, so that might be the play. What is Stirker going to do with Imp? Is he just going to go for... Oh, but he's been dancing around with this mangonel of Yo-Yo Dudes for so long. Finally takes it down. These knights need to learn how to commit.
Imp could close it out. With the trebuchet or 2, you could knock out that town center and start making some gains.
This is what I have my eye on. I'm looking at Yo-Yo Dude's villager count. I feel like this is the moment where Yo-Yo Dude needs to start seriously going for some kind of army, and he's going for a forward Krepost. Oh my goodness. He's trying to regain control of his own resources. Oh, how many villagers is he losing? I can't look.
I can't look, but I will tell you he has lost 36 so far.
No.
40. 41.
This is absolutely brutal. I mean, Yo-Yo Dude has been losing villagers all game. can't get that Crepo stop, and here comes the castle from Stierker, ranging this forward town center of Yo-Yo dudes. He's going once again to try and get this Crepo stop. If he gets the Crepo stop, it could potentially deny this castle. Stierker has not brought that many villagers forward to build this castle. It looks like he's only got 6 building it right now. But I just don't think there's a way Yo-Yo dude can get up this Krepos, and he calls GG Boxer.
Didn't even see the imp.
That castle. Oh.
19 seconds from imp for Stierker.
Yeah, he saw the castle going up. He couldn't get up the Krepost, and I think he just felt, oh, you know what? He was getting hit on the right side as well. I think he lost all of the villagers there while he was focusing on the Krepost. So well done by Stierker to get back up on those 2 town centers to the north right of Yo-Yo's base, clean them out after discovering them only a few minutes ago while going for the castle that seems to have cinched it.
Yeah, lots of blood. I've got the mod that leaves blood on the screen. Lots of blood, lots of green cloth over there. Definitely dead vills from Yo-Yo dude. Final eco KD 48-1, and one of those 48 Yo-Yo killed on a boar. Total KD was 100-60 in favor of Stierker. So
it's such an interesting game to me, and this is why I love that it's a season, because I feel like Yo-Yo dude is going to be disappointed in this performance. He knows that he lost a Vill early. He's going to watch this wreck. He's going to notice that he seemed to have not gotten a lot of those sheep. I think that he played extremely well. I just think Stierker was one step ahead of him, and I hope to see Yo-Yo dude fine-tune his play for next time. I'm really excited to see the next match.
Yeah, the men-at-arms into archers for Stierker immediately pushed Yo-Yo off of wood. Stierker never got pushed off of any resources, so that might have been the difference here.
Absolutely, a huge economy difference, but I think Yo-Yo showed with his, he had 4 town centers, and at the end of the game, still only 9 minutes and 40 seconds of idle TC time. Stierker, who was on 3 as of the last time I checked, looks like he went up to 4 eventually. Over 19 minutes of idle TC time. Still, Yo-Yo dude's eco was idle over 12% of the time, which accumulated to 3 hours and 16 minutes of idle eco time.
Lots of unspent resources on Yo-Yo's side. He probably could have bought himself up to imp. I don't know what that would have helped, but definitely he still had some fight left, but he knew it was over. I think you're right that raid on the right side kind of took the wind out of his sails.
Yeah, and you could see he was just doing his best to stay in the game. And there's a certain point when you're in that mindset that there are one too many things going wrong, and you just can't handle it. And I think that both players played well. I'm very excited to see both of them in their next matches. And just to reiterate for all the new listeners, this is the Kings League. You are listening to Kings of Age, the official podcast of the Kings League. We are watching a group of 24 players who are gunning for the top spot. Right now, we are doing single game matches for the regular season. And there will, I repeat, there will be a crushing playoff series. So, shall we get into it, Boxer? Game 2?
Game 2. So these, as a reminder, these players will see each other once again in this season later on. Teapot Master in orange up in the north of Gold Rush, playing Tatars. I believe these are both of their unique civs.
So these players, you're correct.
These players drafted these civs. Teapot Master, presumably with Gold Rush in mind, he got to draft this map as well. Gold Rush,
yeah,
obviously with a lot of gold in the center. Some of it on a raised platform, some of it in a valley. There is a raised hill going around that gold. Yeah, and then the rest of their bases are off in the plains. Teapot in the north, Mason Windu in the southwest. relatively close to each other. So Chinese for Mason Windu, Tatars for Teapot. Mason Windu already pushing a deer in at 9 villagers.
So if I was to be blunt with you, Boxer, this is what I would say. This will be hilarious because Mason has lost, I'm pretty sure, every single game he has ever played against Teapot Master. And he doesn't know why. So it makes me so curious to know what he's been working on. Obviously, Mason Windu is dedicated to improving. He wants to be a top player. He's working with coaches like Fire. He plays with the late night Vietnamese crowd sometimes. With Rocola, even, and the Argentinian guys. So keen to see what he has to bring against Teapot Master here.
Mason would like to interject that he's lost every series, but not every game.
It was funnier when I said it.
It was funnier.
But
all he's got to do here, this is not a best of 3. This is not a best of 5. All he's got to do is take one.
One
he
game.
Needs one win. That's what makes the King League great. We don't care about how you are in a series. We care about how you are today. Who's the better player right now?
And I guess it's fair for me to say that I was thinking of the wrong people when I said that incorrect fact. I was thinking of that I have never won a 1v1 against Mason Windu. So there's my correction.
These guys are in the second highest group. I believe Mason is 1450. And Teapot just hit 1400.
So Mason, at this level, I'm looking at the placement of his mill and lumber camp. I'm feeling a bit of nerves here. It looks like he didn't really have time to consider where he wanted to place them ahead of time. They're just a little off kilter. I'm concerned for Mason that the daunting challenge of defeating Teapot Master will get to him mentally, but Mason is a real endurance player. And this map is really exciting to me. I think if he can pull together the strengths of the Chinese civilization, even the strengths of Tatars on the hills of Gold Rush, could be crushed. So I'm really keen to see where these two players take this game. I honestly have no idea who's going to win. It could be anyone's game at this point.
Mason does have 38 seconds of idle TC time. That's with Chinese, with that rough Chinese start. Teapot just at 14 seconds. Teapot's already clicked up to feudal though. 18 villagers, 19 pop feudal. When you see that, Mac, are you thinking scouts?
When I see that, I'm thinking what a headache it is to master build orders. But I should probably do it at some point. And in terms of Mason being the Chinese, 22 pop is very curious. Whereas the 19 pop for Teapot, like you say, could very well herald scouts for Tatars. I don't see him on gold at all. He has gone for only 8 lumberjacks here. Oh, a 9th now, actually. So I think it's looking like a pretty clean scout build. And here comes the barracks for Mason.
Teapot's getting a nice wall of houses and palisades
in
front of his base. Mason doesn't look like he's really considered walling, but definitely has a very good map to do it.
Yeah, very nice. And that's something that is just so fun about the map Gold Rush. You get these opportunities with larger wood lines to go for fast castle opportunities.
Scout action,
Yeah, Teapot finds it first. Mason Windu's scout already down 8 HP to 37.
You got that Tatars hill bonus hit.
Yep, the Tatar's Hill bonus for Teapot Master allows him to take a decent chunk of Mason's Scout HP. And folks, if you are listening instead of watching, I will mention this, that the reason Gold Rush is so good for Tatars. Hold on a second though, Teapot's after this villager. This micro from Teapot has been very distracting. But will this spearman find the scouts? Oh boy. Look at that. A hero spearman kills one scout and lives in the midst of two more. But not long. Now it's going to die. So I will just quickly say the Gold Rush has a large hill in the middle with a bunch of gold and snow leopards on it. Then there is a surrounding ridge around that. So Tatar's getting 25% bonus damage when fighting with a hill bonus, which basically means they are attacking from uphill down to their opponents. That's going to come in very relevant here.
So 3 scouts and a spear threatening Mason's base. Mason's walls are almost up. He had a pretty easy way to wall. I will note eco upgrades. They both have horse collar for the longer lasting farms, but only Teapot has double bit axe for faster wood. Mason has forgotten it. I assume he has 16 on wood. You would think he would want that.
He'd also want to finish walling, but these scouts are in. 3 scouts from Teapot Master, however, being chased by the scouts of Masons. Teapot could take this fight here and win. But
probably getting some scouting information.
True.
There will be a scout fight. Oh,
who's Mason's better? Wow, Mason is taking such favorable trades here in terms of HP. Killing a scout already, killing 2 now. All 3. And Mason has 3 left. He goes out immediately. He's going to look for damage.
So good looking walls for Mason. He could have come out a little further and grabbed some stone and some gold. And grabbed some real estate, honestly. But not bad walls. Teapot has been very greedy, I think, and made some very long walls I don't know that he can defend. If there's one villager walks back to wood or anything, Mason could get in on the west side, and I don't think there'd be enough time to get a villager back to stop it.
Mason looks like he's going to lose a spearman to a snow leopard here on the middle hill of Gold Rush. That's rough.
Mason's done very little scouting of Teapot. You can see a stable and a barracks, whereas Teapot has seen all of Mason's base, every bit of it.
Except for the town center, interestingly enough.
Information is important. But I guess at this point, Mason's seen enough. He may not realize, but he's seen enough to know what Teapot has. Oh, no, actually there's an archery range in the back. So Mason does not know about those archers. You can assume that, probably, that he would assume archers, but...
So, it looks like Teapot is going for those archers, like you said, because they're also grabbing fletching, but what I'm curious about is the timing. If you're going to go for archers, how late do you really want to stay in feudal on a map where people can close off quite easily? I think Teapot's idea is to really deny this forward gold, but Mason does have a pretty safe back gold that is walled in and being taken by 9 villagers right now. And currently Mason has a villager knife fighting a spearman from Teapot, and the spearman loses.
Let's see, Mason did want some larger walls. He will encompass that gold and that stone. Keeps those pretty safe. Still not safe from archer fire, but better than nothing. Mason clicks up to Castle Age. Teapot clicks wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And you got to think that wheelbarrow, when it finishes, Teapot should be ready for castle.
It's looking like he will.
So coming into castle, Chinese versus Tatars. What do you think we'll see? With archers now coming across for Teapot towards Mason.
I think it's going to be camels. There comes up a stable now for Mason. He's got 2. And is also grabbing a market. This villager, though, that is just about to finish off the walls. Oh, Mason's running away with it. These 5 archers from Teapot chasing after this villager had 1 tile left in that to close off that wood wall to the wood line there, but now he's gonna die for his troubles, surely. Meanwhile, Teapot
clicks up to castle.
Yeah, and Mason goes for a defensive tower, but I'm not sure about the positioning of this. I would like to see it, if you are going to go for a defensive tower, placing it more forward, especially since you still have the scouts to posture, and now these scouts look like they're going to take care of this 1 scouting archer. In the meantime, Mason's villager did die to those additional archers, but now Teapot has brought his 4 archers home as Mason Windu just hits Castle Age.
Mason's scouts are out looking for those archers as well. Mason scouted a little bit more of the perimeter of Teapot's base. Only really found a market, and of course the stable and barracks. Does not know about the archery range, but he has seen the archers. Second archery range coming up for Teapot as he's going into castle. Teapot has 3 good wood lines inside of his base, and 2 very good golds. Mason's got probably 1.5 good golds that are fairly protected, but no stone.
What Mason does have right now is the Castle Age advantage. Teapot is just about to hit Castle Age, and Mason Windu did finally get that double bit axe, is going for Chinese knights.
Vodka arrow immediately for Teapot, so he's committing to archers of some type. Crossbow coming in as well.
He could make a switch into Cav Archer. He has enough archers to justify crossbow.
And a heads up move, Mason has his knight, instead of going after Teapot, he's patrolling the center. He knows that center is going to be important, especially with the Tatar bonus. He wants to make sure Teapot does not get up on that hill and get some gold. Crossbow's coming in. Kind of a cat and mouse going on here.
Yeah.
But Mason abandons the hilltop as villagers come out for Teapot.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him hold on a little harder there. But Mason has actually seized night production. Is it just because he's out of gold? No, he has the resources. He's still cleaning them up, but I think the production chains are just faltering a little. Is on 2 town centers. And is also producing another archery range. I'm not sure what that is for. Does he just... And a 3rd town center now coming up on this forward stone for Mason. So it looks like he is fleshing out his economy. Teapot Master, on the other hand, has gone for a 2nd town center in their home base, near a small pile of gold, while also placing a forward town center on top of the Gold Rush Hill, trying to maintain positioning of the gold.
So that stone TC for Mason is probably just for protection. I wouldn't think he wants to produce out of that very much. But he also, since he put that tower up, he can't do a 3rd town center without more stone. So having a few villagers on stone would help his economy later on.
Honestly, with the amount of gold he has, he could buy the stone if he wanted to go for a 4 town center boom. But right now, I'm not sure what his plan is. He's continuing to produce knights and villagers out of 3 town centers, but is also getting... No, I think he accidentally queued up a Cav Archer and canceled it.
We just found out about that town center on the top of the hill.
Yeah,
he's going to take this fight.
Yeah, I think he will take the fight. He does have +1 attack upgrades and +2 defense upgrades.
And archers are dying.
Yeah, but at any moment, if Teapot Master wants, he can just pop these archers. Oh, but Mason decides that the fight is not going to be one for him, so he loses a lot of momentum there. I think when you see those archers, you don't need to rush it. You can just go straight for the base. Your army is a lot more mobile. He could try to bust into Teapot's home base and try and do some economic damage. But now a monastery up for Teapot Master, 2 ranges, and a university. And Teapot Master's also getting monks.
He also just got ballistics that'll help against those knights. 11 villager lead for Mason Windu. This is mostly just production. Eco KD is 1-2 in favor of Teapot. But Mason has the villager lead. Military counts 23 for Teapot, 14 for Mason. And Mason's still probing the edge of that main base, trying to find a way in.
I just feel like he's coming at it from... Actually, he's making quick work of this house. What is Teapot could wall this off, but he needs to pull villages forward.
He's got a second wall already.
Yep, there we go. He just throws up a stone gate to fill in a small gap in his building wall. Mason is going to have a tough time getting in now.
Pretty smart. I said earlier those were very long walls. They'd be hard to defend. But that's a good way. Teapot was preemptively walling off. Oh, but there's a hole. He found a hole in that secondary wall.
So Mason Windu has 6 knights +1/+2 upgrades in the base of Teapot Master, going to raid the stone, going to raid the gold, and even going to raid some farms. Villagers are dying, but a conversion in from the monk of Teapot. Mason wants that monk dead. He rushes it and kills it with 2 knights. The archers are all coming back. The crossbows, a house is deleted from Teapot Master to allow the crossbows in. They will surely clean up these knights. One goes down, another one about to fall.
Eco KD went from 1-2 to now 11-2.
Wow, and all of a sudden the Vill lead for Mason Windu, 80 Vills plus to the 64 of Teapot Master, and he's still killing more.
20 Vill lead, 21 Vill lead for Mason. 21 Vill lead for Mason.
Goes down, but wow. And look at this, the army from Teapot Master completely out of position. Meanwhile, Mason's been pushing the center with knights.
Mason's back in the base with another group of knights fighting cav archers on level ground. It's important to stay on even ground and not let the Tatars have a hill bonus.
This monk is just walking right by with the relic. Oh, Mason sees it. He wants that monk. Is he going to lose his knights for it? Kills the monk, but is it worth it? Is he loses 3 knights? One's still running around. What's he going to do with this one?
A little bit of fighting happened in the middle on that TC while Teapot was cleaning out that base, the base raid. There are skirmishers now for Mason. One thing Mason's doing well, he's keeping Teapot fighting in multiple spots, and as soon as Teapot finishes off an army, Mason has another one right behind it. Definitely seeing that eco coming into play. Castle coming up on the center for
Huge
Mason.
play from Mason here. Look at these crossbows come though. 31 crossbows from Teapot Master, +2 attack, +2 range, defense, and +2 range. But these elite skirmishers, there's not a ton of them, but is there just enough in conjunction with the 10 knights to stop these crossbows? I think that castle's going to go up, Boxer.
Castle will go up for sure. The knights kind of faulted back and forth. I think he could have taken a better fight if he committed. The problem is he's fighting under a Teapot TC on the center. But now the Teapot TC is fighting under a Mason Castle.
Our hill bonus kicks in. But where's the micro from Teapot? He's still losing a lot of his crossbows. So all 10 knights go down at the end of it. But look at this, 13 crossbows only remaining. And with the economy of Mason in a 35 villager lead, you have to think all he needs to do is stall. And Teapot's killing his own crossbows with his mangonel. I think Mason has got Teapot's number here. I think he's in his head.
Not a best of 5. It's not a best of 3. It's a best of 1. It really feels like Mason's day right now. Still a lot of game to play. 9 skirmishers in the queue. 16 skirmishers on the ground for Mason. The Tatar's TC will drop here in center, giving Mason basically undisputed control of all this gold.
He's making Chuko new. Chuko Nu are the unique unit for the Chinese civilization. When there is only one of them, they are not necessarily the strongest unit, but when they get a bit of a grouping or a mass going, you can really start to do damage, as each of those Chuko Nu is going to be firing much in the same way as a crossbow. However, they'll be firing multiple arrows. So they are quite good against buildings and units with higher armor.
Villager counts 118 for Mason, 84 for Teapot. Military count 41 Mason, 27 Teapot. All things are in favor of Mason right now. 4th TC comes down for Teapot, but it's only the 3rd one he has alive since Mason destroyed the middle TC. All 3 Teapot TCs are inside of his base and walled in securely. We have the Cav Archer raid.
Yeah, I mean, he kills a fair few vills there. I'm not sure why Mason's villagers were over there. He's not really struggling for wood on the right side where his town centers actually are, so those villagers were just way out in the middle of nowhere. Now these Cav Archers have pulled this elite skirmisher army off to the side of the map. Can Teapot take advantage of this anywhere? I don't think so. I mean, even with those villagers dead, it's still a 20 plus villager deficit for Teapot Master. The Chinese economy right now is just so strong. Where is Mason going to take it? He wants to take it into Imperial Age. He is already 65% of the way to that upgrade, getting Thumb Ring now, continuing to produce elite skirmishers out of 3 archery ranges, and it looks like it's going to be a light cav transition for Teapot.
A little bit of a relic race out here as well. You got a Teapot monk looking for a relic. He hasn't found it yet.
Yeah, it walked right past it.
There's Imp for Mason already.
Look at this. These scouts from Mason are going directly to that monk. How does he sense this? No, he turns around. He was 3 tiles away from seeing that monk. Huh. So interesting. I think he's just looking for raids. He did find the Cav Archer army here. And once again, on the right side, Mason has a highly exposed woodline with 14 villagers. This one will be harder to spot for Teapot, but I can't help but feel like he's playing with fire. That's a joke, by the way, because he is. He's getting, get it, Boxer? Because he's getting coached by fire.
Yep, I got that.
Okay, just checking.
Second castle coming down on mid for Mason. He's securing this guild even more. Teapot just clicked into Imperial Age. Teapot dropping a castle on the west side. Just a few tiles from Mason's base. Not threatening it,
south.
but protecting some stone. Have Archer raid.
This problem is getting egregious quite quickly.
Do we have a cut through? What happened?
No, Mason has just thrown his lumber camps all over the map.
So we have 15 archers inside of Mason's base now, just having their way with villagers. I see no coordinated response from Mason.
That's an excellent way to put it.
There are 5 skirmishers staring down these Cav Archers. Cav Archers are on stand ground, and they have less range than these skirms. I know that because the skirmishers are just slinging bolts at them.
Moving or killing villagers. I think Teapot could have almost evened out the vill count there. It's still a 13 villager 14 now deficit because Mason Windu is in on the base, has knights fighting a lot of light cavalry. Who will win? It's a trebuchet firing now on the starting town center of Teapot Master, and Mason Windu was able to kill a mangonel just with skirmishers. All that had been defending was crossbow, and how much more damage can Teapot do with these cavalry? There's only 4 left, 3 now. 8 vil difference, but Mason has all the aggro. He's building another town center in the middle left of the map. A castle coming up on the left side of the Gold Rush Hill. That'll be the 3rd in the center for Mason, and Mason is getting ready to push, but he's doing it slowly. Light cavalry now from Teapot Master. A few Chukonu here. Where? Oh, it's Cavalier for Mason Windu.
Do you think these castles from Mason could have been a little more aggressive? Like that 2nd and 3rd castle on mid could have been on Teapot's base.
Always. Castles can always be more aggressive.
So the Cav archers have been ran out of Mason's base for a while now. Mason is up front with a handful of Chukonu and a bucket load of skirmishers.
I mean, he's killing these light cavalry with the skirmishers now. He's pulling some of them back, I think, just to protect his trip. I'm not sure what his plan is there.
Eco KD is 33 to 25 in Teapot's favor. But Mason still has 20 more villagers.
This just cracks me up, though. I'm just waiting. It's been all light cav right now from Teapot Master, who is probably running out of gold. Has 1 tile of 10 gold left, and that's the end of it. Where are the pikes or halberdiers from Mason Windu? I don't know, but does he need it to close this game out? He has full control of all the gold in the game right now. The only gold that Teapot has access to is the trickle that comes from the possession of 1 relic. I don't think that'll be enough.
Here are camels from Mason. That'll help with the scouts.
Camels is a fantastic way to deal with these light cavalry. So good for the Chinese, so easy to tech into as well due to their cheaper upgrades. 4 stables in the middle, another 2 at home. And the Hussar upgrade is just coming in now for Teapot Master, but things are starting to look dire. These farms... Boxer.
That's it.
That's it.
TG called from Teapot with Mason.
Holy.
Trebbing his base, trebbing his castle.
There was nothing stopping him from... Yeah. Well, he had all control of the gold, and now there's nothing stopping him from attacking these farms. So many of which are not under the tutelage of a town center. And there's just not enough Hussar to deal with the Chukonu and camels.
What do you think that game tipped over? So Teapot had a great base, very good defensive walling. Took control of that center early. What do you think went wrong here?
Well, Mason went for a 3-town center start, and Teapot did not punish him for it. I think Teapot, after getting that town center, switched to playing defensively. And Mason, I mean, he just got enough of an economy to push Teapot off the center. So Teapot was doing damage through raids, which is great as the Tatars. I mean, folks, Tatars are literally a civilization with a unique unit that is designed to raid. However, I think the raids just came out too late from Teapot Master. I think especially when Teapot Master was getting a lot of villager pickoffs around the map, I think that's where Teapot needs to double down and just say, hey, Mason is really playing greedy here with these lumber camps. Let me keep scouting aggressively. But I don't know what it was from Teapot. I think there just wasn't enough pressure on Mason, and Mason was able to get the Chinese civilization to that place where it can just be an engine that produces army of all sorts. And that's exactly what Mason did. Heavy camels here, Chuko Nu, elite skirmisher, trebuchets. He's got everything.
Pretty even game on kills. 163 to 140 for Mason. Definitely Mason took down more buildings. Mason had the better economy. We saw that throughout. Collecting more wood, food, and gold. And just losing out on stone by 100. Mason had the better castle time, better imp time. And then both had one relic, I believe.
Yeah, and 25 higher vill count for villager high. That's huge.
It's a good game. Again, that was a rematch
Absolutely.
from Medieval Brawl. These two players will see each other again later in the season, where Teapot will be looking for revenge. All right. Those are, I've got cube fish, in case anybody's interested. I like the cube fish.
What is that?
All right, Gwyn's
boy.
Cell. We're on Arabia. Arabia is the default map for the league. If you do not want to play your home map as the home player, you can choose to play Arabia instead. All 24 players voted on that. You got Gwyn's Cell in the blue on the northwest side of the map. Southeast side, you've got Combat Disco in the red. Combat playing Huns, Gwen playing Bohemians. Mackie, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I just look at Bohemians often as a civilization that can build up a real powerful army that can be almost unstoppable in either a push or a defense. I think the Huns are just going to be so much more nimbler and able to take advantage of this open map. So I'm not sure what Gwen will do to keep the economy safe in the meantime. It could be as simple as a drush, right? But if I mean, obviously there could be an archer's play as well, so we're going to want to keep an eye on Gwen Tercell's gold to see if she's going for gold. But Disco, on the other hand, as the Huns, has an opportunity here to play quite aggressively. Since Disco did choose Arabia, it makes me think that he's going to want to play it fast. So will Gwen be able to keep up? I'm not sure. Either way, these are two very strong players, and I'm really keen to see this match.
It feels to me like watching a few Gwen games. She's a very by the book player. She doesn't try a lot of crazy strats, but I also don't think she's rattled very easily.
I agree completely.
She's very hard to get tilted, so you're not going to get an easy win off Gwen. I don't know anything about Disco, but we'll see.
Disco is the kind of guy who names this recording Gwennick at the Disco. So I feel like we're gonna see a little bit of a rock star play out of him. I feel like Disco,
is that what he names this recording?
Yes. I feel like Disco is, well, it could have been Gwen, to be fair. They both have a creative streak. Gwen has an excellent YouTube channel, if you haven't seen that, but I feel like Disco is going to play pretty loosely and fast, and Gwen is going to be playing whack-a-mole, trying to keep him down. Will she give him a concussion, or will he infuriate her and take the prize for himself?
Gwen tells Combat Disco no.
She loves doing that.
Guess there's a little bit of a scout off.
That's what I'm saying. Disco is going to be the bad boy here, and Gwen is going to have to set some boundaries. She's trying to make an early start using the chat to her advantage, but can she do it on the board with the pieces? The Bohemians versus the Huns. I am incredibly excited to see this.
Barracks coming down. Barracks coming down for Disco on the front. Disco's already going to gold. Both players clicking up. Well, no. Disco clicks up to feudal at 21 pop. Gwen is at 22 pop. And we'll be going to feudal soon.
So getting that loom. So Disco will have a bit of a tempo advantage there. Gwen will go in with a slightly stronger economy, but some idle time already here. 2 villagers going to make the barracks. Adjacent to that mill in Gwen's base. And let's talk about this mill for a second. It is under a hill. So a couple of archers from Disco, some Hunnic archers on that hill could really pose a problem for Gwen's food economy.
All right, militia coming in for Disco. 3. Probably going to turn those into men-at-arms. Do a men-at-arms rush here.
Oh, Gwen has a lumberjack right now that has walked the longest possible way around.
What is he doing?
Walked around the entire... Well, this lumber camp from Gwen is a little concerning to me. I can see the logic behind it. It's going to be tough to wall this in, though. But Gwen has small walled in the other lumber camp. And here come the 3 militia from Disco. Scout is forward. And Gwen hits feudal. Men at arms now.
We're gonna try to break into this wood line. Gwen has small walled her wood line. She's about to do the same on a second wood line. Archery range coming in for Gwen. Archery range already up for Disco. No men at arms for Gwen, so she's probably committing fully to archers.
Just the one range for now.
Disco with 5 seconds of idle TC time. Gwen up to 30 seconds.
Ooh. That is to be expected from the Drush. These are those sort of almost invisible benefits. The information that you don't get to know as the one doing the Drush. Gwen looks to place an archer range, I think. Deleted it, then put up a blacksmith instead. Wants that fletching upgrade, which does allow those archers to shoot a little further. Do a little more damage.
There's fletching coming in for Disco. Again, it looks like Disco's the higher elo by a few hundred, but Gwen has gone to a pretty high max elo herself. So while elo-wise, she's potentially the underdog here, I don't think that's as steep of an underdog as it would appear. Archer's walking up for Disco onto Gwen's small walled wood line. She's going to have to abandon that wood line if he takes action on it.
Yeah, she doesn't have enough archers to defend this just yet. Plus the men arms are there. 3 archers out now, though. Good micro could handle this, but Disco, not terrible himself, pulls the villages out quite quickly. Doesn't even want... What is going on? Oh, 2 men at arms go down. Gwen taking a nice fight. Was going to try and run away with those villagers. Deleted a palisade. There turned out to be a tree behind it, so she couldn't actually get out. But now she's killed everything except for 1 men-at-arms as the last archer goes down, and she still has 3 archers. So those lumberjacks are just back to work.
Yeah, like I said, Gwen's a by-the-book player. You might try to rush her, and you might even have some success, but it's not going to rattle her. She's going to stay firm, and she's going to take care of business. Gwen pushing the attack, sensing that she has an advantage here.
Love this to immediately go on the forward foot, and look at that. Disco has been in a score lead. Gwen, though, not too far behind now. You'd have to think 1 or 2 hits on these villagers. If she can find a good opportunity, because Disco is not yet walled, not by a long shot, and that scout is already looking for this walling villager.
Disco will have the advantage of being at home for this attack.
Yes.
He's got more archers. Advantage. And Gwen, sensing that, maybe is going to fall back to her base. Neither player looking close to castle, but Disco at least has 600 food. Vill count is in favor of Disco with 36 to 33. No villagers killed so far, only military units.
You can see Disco. Oh, wait, Gwen. Gwen kills Disco's scout, and here's how it happened. Disco was focusing on preparing the home base for an invasion from Gwen's archers. While doing that, though, Disco couldn't help but use his scout to try and pick off a villager at the berries of Gwenthersel. Gwen noticed it fast enough to get all of those villagers attacking the scout. By the time Disco realized that she had already counterattacked, his scout was almost dead. He ran away, but Gwen, and this is what she does so well, she pulls her scout all the way back and finishes it off. And now Gwen getting up a defensive tower on her gold. So Gwen playing this slower, more passively than Disco was earlier, but really trying to set herself up for the long run here. And I think as the Bohemians, you're going to favor yourself moving into the later stages of this game.
Let's go clicking up the castle first. Gwen is still 300 food away. And Gwen is housed.
Rushing up a few houses here now.
That TC is idle for Gwen. 2 minutes idle TC time for Gwen. 22 seconds.
Wow.
Combat Disco.
Wow.
22 seconds of idle time going into Castle Age. I think a lot of us don't have 22 seconds of idle time going into Feudal Age.
Yeah.
Mackie says, yeah, like it's him. It's not him. You don't know the low elo troubles. You're not the every gamer.
I think that the idle TC time is so funny to me because you don't, unless you actively look, you don't know. So somebody, and that's where the Dunning-Kruger effect could come into play, for sure. Somebody who thinks they have this fantastic TC, right, that is never idle, they could be so wrong and they've just never checked. So it's always worth checking once in a while, because I'm sure Gwen will be surprised to see how much idle TC time that is. And if it doesn't seem like that much to you, translate that into villagers, and then translate those villagers. Like, for example, 2 minutes of idle TC time gets you 7 villagers. So if you have 7 villagers, you could basically be producing out of a stable right now. And what would you do with a constant stream of knights from one stable? You could just get up to all sorts.
Combat's up first. Bodkin's now in. Crossbow just came in. And he's got 14 crossbows walking towards Gwen. He knows he's got a small advantage before she hits castle to do something with these archers. Gwen knows that too. She puts a defensive tower up on one of her wood lines. She had a defensive tower on both sides of her base, which Disco is about to figure out.
Yep. And these towers are starting to feel real good for Gwen. However, there are so many archers, they're going to kill a villager all the same. This is not the Teutons that Gwen is so used to playing that get increased. Oh, but whoa, look at this army from Gwen.
She has way more archers.
Feudal hero here, crossbow now. +1, +1, +2, +1 for Disco, but does Disco even lose a crossbow while under this tower? No, a lot of the HP on those crossbow gone though, and if that's a head-to-head fight, Disco will lose that badly.
He just decks one of Gwen's crossbows that get caught out in the open. Just levels in.
That's an unlucky one.
One villager down.
Yeah, some damage being done here for sure.
So 2 villagers down on Gwen's side, none killed.
This is the problem for
3
Gwen.
down for Gwen.
Yeah, Gwen started going forward with her crossbows, thinking to counterattack, but Disco has been so aggressive with his crossbows that she then had to pull them back to defend. Now she is way behind on the play, and Disco has been able to find a bunch of idle time and damage in the villagers of Gwen. However, he got a little sloppy, Gwen caught up to him, and she's starting to pick off crossbows.
Back at home, a TC coming up for Disco.
Uh-huh.
And a Cav Archer switch. So we're looking at 12 Cav Archers already in the queue, ready to be unleashed by Combat Disco. So Combat Disco is just wasting Gwen's time right now. He don't even need these crossbows.
Yeah, no ballistics though, making those crossbow look like stormtroopers.
All right, and as soon as they're dead, here come the Cav Archers. 20 Hun Cav Archers.
And I would have loved to see them hit while Gwen was actually fighting.
That would have been nice.
But
she also has
this.
She has those towers, so there's only so much they can do.
I think Gwen is feeling overly confident right here. Puts 7 villagers out on this forward gold in the middle of nowhere almost. 6 tiles from the nearest building. Those villagers are very exposed, and now she sees the Cav Archer. Tower shoos them away. She puts up a gate. Needs to make sure she walls on both sides of this small turtle pond, though, because that is a way that those Cav Archers can get in. The army, though, hovering around that pond right now, recognizing that this is the weak point. Gwen needs ballistics.
She needs ballistics. She does not have the wood for it. She keeps making TCs. 3rd TC dropped by Gwen, but she's not constructing it for some reason. Look at this forward siege workshop for Combat Disco touching one of Gwen's archery ranges. That is as forward as you can get, nestled up against an enemy building.
And a Scorpion coming forward as well.
27 Cav Archers for Combat Disco, 28.
But you're right, the delay on that archery, that town center from Gwentercell means that these Cav Archers are finding the villagers out in the open. Not only does Gwen not finish it, she just abandons it. No, she's back on it now.
She lost 2 villagers there. She's lost 8 villagers overall.
And she really needs ballistics. She has the university. It's so hard to get the wood, though, sometimes.
Oh, here comes that lone villager trying to build that siege workshop, just walking through the arrow fire. Completely oblivious.
The villager's dead. That workshop is never going to even get started. But a hill bonus now for Disco. He's not shooting, though. He almost walks off the hill. Loses so many Cav Archers there for nothing.
Cancels that siege workshop.
Good. He doesn't have control. And somehow Gwen has gotten away with this extraordinarily aggressive gold play.
Very close game. 11 villager lead for Disco, but 10 KD lead for Gwen. At this point in the game, it could go either way. You get the sense that Disco's a little more comfortable. He's playing his game. He's putting pressure on Gwen. But Gwen is not really a pressure player. You know, she's settled in and she's ready to go the long game.
And you also get the sense that Disco isn't getting to do as much as he wants. Look at this. Gwen picking off Cav Archers for nothing. What is Disco looking at? Oy vey. Finally fighting back now, but Gwen is playing this fight really well. The only issue is Disco has the hill. She's trying to pick off that mangonel. She's so close.
She's gonna get it.
Oh no, it doesn't even fire a parting shot. That would have done a ton of damage. But more mangonels coming forward for Disco. Disco has lost the hill. Neither of them on the hill now. Disco takes it. Another mangonel coming up behind this. Ooh, Gwen dodges the shot. And that workshop does eventually go up. This is seeming like it's within range of a tower.
I will say this. When Combat Disco wants to make a forward workshop, he makes a forward workshop. There is no doubting.
As forward as you can. You want your forward workshop to give you scouting value, right? Like you want to be able to scout the enemy's eco with your line of sight from the workshop. Could you imagine being the employee at that workshop? Like walking into the enemy's town when you show up for work in the morning? Ooh, mangonel shot in. Gets 3 crossbows of Gwen's. But there are still 3 cav archer lying on the ground from those crossbow. So...
yeah, the mangonel on a hill, laying siege to one of Gwen's town centers.
Castle coming up. There's no way this castle goes up, right?
No.
The crossbows are out of position.
But that,
I think,
mangonel could go down easy.
Oh, and it's surely going to. Disco has found himself in such a tenuous position here. He's getting the villager kills. He has a 20 villager lead.
Gwen's prioritizing that mangonel.
Very well
Disco
fought
just
there.
taking a fight under a
and
TC
the crossbows
with
here,
yeah.
I think if Gwen had the crossbow in position earlier, this fight go. Oh, and the mangonel!
Ooh.
Oh, a big shot! 2 big shots.
Ouch.
And all of a sudden I question, is Gwen going to be able to get at this castle at all? There's only 6 cav archers left though, and Disco's making... I can't believe it. I can't look.
Disco drops a forward castle in range of the TC with 2 villagers. Now 1 villager.
2 villagers.
Oh, here's 3 more coming up to support.
Oh my goodness, Gwen doesn't have any siege of her own though. 4 villagers forward now trying to build this hilarious castle. He's sending more villagers, he's sending cav archers. The wood lines in his base are miles away from the lumber camps. Idle farmers, but Disco is... I love this. When I'm watching this, I'm like, this is like
these are accidentally
aggressive.
These are accidentally 2 opposite players. Like, we did not plan this in the groupings. Gwen completely defensive, completely passive. Combat Disco as aggressive as you can be.
So funny because they're so evenly matched at it.
Gwen brought the entire villager force to up her TC.
Oh my gosh. Disco paused it. Said, "Sec, food's here."
In the middle of his castle, in the middle of his attack.
In the middle of making the castle. You have to imagine Gwen was like a little peeved, right? That he paused it, you have to imagine.
Well, I have not seen this guy before. I'm gonna have to find Combat Disco streams or something.
I've played with Disco once before, and I didn't know what to make of it. And he played very aggressively. He's a strong player, you know. He just can't really be stuffed with the whole build order thing. So he just kind of like does what he feels like it, but that's why he can be doing what I would sort of reckon to be like a 60% aggression, and he's losing a bunch of vills at home now to Gwen Tercell's crossbows, but Gwen Tercell, perhaps not used to handling her aggressive army as well, loses most of those crossbows to a town center. Meanwhile, Disco has finally refreshed his lumber camp, but only one of them. The other one is like 10 tiles away. The villagers are traveling to drop off their wood. So strengths and weaknesses, folks. Strengths, so you just gotta find your strengths.
So after that bloodbath, Disco is looking close to going to Imp. 700 food, 600 gold. Gwen has no food. She feels the scouts. A couple scouts came out for Disco. Gwen felt that. She's thrown in some pikemen. Military counts 7-3. And Disco is ramming down Gwen's castle.
With only 2 rams.
Gwen having to defend with villagers, it looks like.
Yeah, but wait, where are these villagers going? Oh no. I can't. Oh, and they're both gonna die. She almost destroys one of the rams.
Yeah, Combat's actually fighting with his rams underneath his own castle against her castle. So it's fairly protected, the rams. Third ram coming in to help.
One. The mangonel, though, is it coming in time? There is a light cavalry. Oh, there's 5 light cavalry dancing around for Disco. I think Gwen's gonna hold this castle, though. She stopped repairing the castle. She stopped repairing it. The mangonel's not firing. She didn't finish repairing the
castle down. That could have been saved.
Are you joking?
Oh, and now the ram goes down.
Well, at least maybe she deleted the castle so the mangonel could get in range. We don't know.
I've never seen a castle go down to so few rams.
Gwen says that castle. The Disco says F. Yeah, this castle from Disco is denying basically all of the gold for Gwen.
11 light cav and a raid Gwen.
This is gonna be brutal raiding. That could be. Look at this. She's too busy typing. She said right when you had your food come FFS. That's so funny. This is what I love about this. The storylines throughout the season will be played out, and these aren't like manufactured storylines. How can you predict that the storyline between Gwen and Combat is that Combat Disco had some food come in the most crucial moment of the game and pause the game, and Gwen is probably so salty about that she will take that out on him fully the next time they meet. Disco better be prepared because it's going to be Gwen Tercell's home map.
That was chaos in Gwen's base. Light cav everywhere.
Switched now.
She had 3 mangonels spread out, just firing past each other. Somehow it didn't hit each other. Dropping a defensive castle. This one way back, almost to where
these villages on the left. First, you can see she just swooped her mouse around, grabbed like 20 villagers, and just sent them all to go build this castle. The funny thing about this castle is it's defending like farms, production buildings, and it's touching 2 town centers. But really, the big issue for Gwen is that she needs gold, and she's placing a market right now. She hasn't scouted much of the map either, so you have to just assume, people, that there is gold on the map. You just need to scout it. She is not seeing the 3-tile gold on the left side of her base, and she has not gone for the relics. There's one on either side of her base as well.
Now, Combat Disco's super aggressive castle that he started with 2 villagers in the middle of a firefight is actually covering 2 different neutral golds, 4 tiles each. So somehow it was a really good castle spot.
Yeah, and it just puts Gwen in such a tough position. Though the thing is, if it's going to be light cavalry from Disco, those pikemen from Gwen are doing 20. Oh, but they're doing 25% bonus damage, Boxer. But look at that Imperial Age. It's in for Disco. 47 minutes game time in. What is Gwen's response? She is way down in villagers.
Combat immediately queues up Bracer, Parthian tactics, and true to form capped ram.
Absolutely. Gwen, meanwhile, has 41 villagers on the same lumber camp wood line. Just fully wrapped around like an ant.
It's not even an exaggeration. It's literally 38 villagers right there. He's making a lot of barracks. So I guess she's planning to go heavy pike. She has clicked up to Imp. She'll be there shortly.
Boxer, just so you know, heavy pike is now known as halberdier.
Oh, I meant she's going heavy into pike.
I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. It's just a little joke.
Terrible joke.
To spice up the, get the viewers going.
I bring the professionalism
type
here.
Type 1 in chat if you knew that was a joke. So yeah, we have those 8 barracks from Gwen. Does she have enough villagers to produce out of that many barracks?
Traps coming in. Driving down Gwen's castle.
Tough.
Light cav. Trying to hit that raid again. But there are pikes there. They will settle for killing mangonels.
Ooh. Well, not if the mangonel kills itself. And how much damage is that mangonel doing to the siege ram? Not enough. It's gonna take like a lot of shots. But here come the cav archers. Those will deal so nicely with these pikemen. And
really good combo here.
Yeah, the light cav are going straight for the mangonel, and then they can just go straight to raiding. Nope, they go for the pikes. Never mind. Gwen's an Imperial Age though. Is this the classic Imperial Age into GG?
I think so. She's missing one key, like skirmishers or something to deal with the cav archers. She does not have an answer for the cav archers, and the pikes are not it.
Sight wagons could be good here, but her only castle is about to fall down to the two unpacked trebuchets of Disco. Has the third one as well. He's ready to start fully pushing here. That tower even is going to go down on the right side, and Disco has a 3 villager castle coming up on the left side of Gwen's base. Sending more villas now. 3 more to be specific.
Yeah, the pikes get shredded by the cav archers. I'm feeling GG soon.
This is rough. Disco has 139 villagers, and they're, yep. GG from Gwen. Well played to both players.
Looking at the map end game, we were kind of zoomed in on Gwen's base, but Disco was taking the entire map with either TCs or outposts. He ought to be able to see just about everything.
Very nicely done.
You can see the entire map. There's nothing he's not aware of. Wow, that was incredible. For me, an opening look at Combat Disco, that was fun.
Glad you enjoyed yourself.
The 3 villager castles. I don't understand it, but I love it. He does his attacks full force. He does his buildings just like an afterthought.
Aggressive in planning. Let's say that. Disco, I think sometimes there's an argument to be made that if your opponent isn't going to in any way punish you for getting away with less villager build time, then that's fine. With how much was at stake on that castle going up, it did make me a little nervous, I will say, Boxer.
But he pulled through.
He did.
Good game to Combat Disco, good game to Gwen Tercel. Look forward to that rematch later on.
Absolutely.
Final kill counts were close, 182 to 185. But yeah, Combat pulled through the day.
And folks, we are on Alpine Lake, the home map of Aristotle. In the blue as the Kamai. In the orange, in the southeast corner of the map, is Clatchet. In the orange is the Japanese. Folks, Alpine Lakes, what can I say about this map, Boxer? If only that there are fish. And that is exciting.
It's a very rare map. I don't know that I've ever seen this or played on it.
I don't know if I have either.
So it is accurate. There are lakes. These are
Alpine ones.
These are ponds, really. There are 2 little ponds, one for each player. They each have 4 sets of fish.
8 fish, might I add.
And they are, what is that, maybe 15, 20 tiles from the TC? Yeah, both players are on a pretty large hill. Pretty large snowy hill with a short valley in between them. And then off to the right-hand side, there's like some plains where you can find a lot of wood, a little bit of gold and stone. And then there's a valley behind each of their bases. So if you get in behind the enemy, you're kind of taking extra damage from that bonus damage off the hill. But otherwise, very odd but symmetrical map.
So, do you see what Aristotle has done with his deep fish?
He has milled it.
He's milled it, and he has a lot of villagers taking it. Now, do you see what Clatchet has done?
Clatchet has docked his.
So, I have a feeling Clatchet has no idea how to play this map. If the way he's playing it is so different from the way the home player is playing it, the food income from those fish is going to be very fast. Aristotle, I'm thinking, is going to have a really nice economy going into feudal. Clatchet, on the other hand, I think is going to struggle. I think that could be one reason why this game might not go that long.
So you're thinking, what are you thinking? Like a scout rush and just knocks him out?
I'm thinking it's just gonna be pure opening. You know, it's just gonna be Aristotle performing an opening that is so superior to Clatchet's that Clatchet will just fall over to whatever Aristotle sends. I mean, Aristotle picks this map for a reason, and Clatchet. I mean, look at this. Clatchet is saying 1 or 2 boars. Oh no! And Aristotle says 1. Clatchet says thanks, and then like a tongue sticky outy face. I can't help but think that in his head he's going, wait, something about this fish. I'm supposed to do something about this fish, right? Aristotle says, well, 1 now. Very cheeky. Very cheeky. The classic mindfuckery. I love it. Implying that he has lamed his opponent when he has actually not done so. Very sneaky.
So I will say, I would advise players in this league. You're only playing one game every 2 weeks. Take a look at the opponent's home map and just look at it. Just open a
Honestly,
game,
just look at it.
fully explored. Take an assessment of your resources. Don't even play the game. Just look at the resources. Look at the layout. Maybe do a couple of generations of it. See what changes.
If you want to win.
Yeah, but we're all busy people. This is
busy people, especially Clatchet. He's too busy smoking meats and stuff.
A good trade-off, I think. Meats over Alpine Lakes.
That's true. And I think he's thinking, you know, I got a whole season to figure this out. I'll let everyone else sweat it out for the. Because one of the funny things is, if you plan on watching all the games, you could say, I'm not going to do any work or any research. I'm going to look so bad in the beginning that I won't be seen as a threat, but I'm going to study everyone's game and learn their strategies so I can best them in future games.
Aristotle already in feudal. He went up at 16 pop. All of his fish are gone.
Oh, yep.
Clatchet hasn't even taken out one thing of fish.
And if you think about it like that, that's like 500 food on the map that has been taken by Aristotle that has not been taken by Clatchet. And Clatchet's investing in fishing ships, which is not bad at all. But he's gonna have to really commit to getting a fishing, like a fish trap eco going, if he wants to make use of that dock, and that will be so exposed. This isn't a map like Black Forest where you can hide your fish pond in the back of your base. This is right in range of so many areas of attack.
2 scouts just took out Clatchet's barracks. He hadn't finished making it. That's a lot of wood.
Yeah.
Clatchet has no way to build scouts to defend against this.
Clatchet, I think. Oh, and he's in on the wood line. He walls in the 1 scout, but that scout, I think, is just going to start killing villagers. Aristotle's laughing now. Clatchet finally hits feudal age, 120 point score difference in favor of Aristotle. Villagers dying now for Clatchet. And I think the other thing too is Clatchet is a machine, but
Clatchet says, well, this was fun.
Like a machine. He knows when the algorithm is broken. F, says Clatchet. He's letting Aristotle have some fun with his scouts here. And GG, I blew the build and then some. Resignation from Clatchet.
Wow, that was brutal. I thought it would be fast, but not that fast. And I thought more scouts. I was thinking like a flood of scouts, not three scouts.
Well,
wow.
That was interesting. There's an OP.
So let that be
I mean, Clatchet's off. Clatchet's going to be ready next time. I feel it. I feel it.
This was Alpine Lakes. Let that be a lesson to anybody who has to face Aristotle on Alpine Lakes. You want to jump on that shorefish, and you should expect a 16 pop uptime from Aristotle.
Yeah, I love it. I'm curious to see though, if we get into later stages of the game, what is Aristotle going to bring to the table? But for now, we see a glimpse into his strategy. Let's go into the next one because I'm keen to see more.
This is the craziest chart I've ever seen. You can literally see villagers being made and then killed.
Oh boy!
Wow.
Yeah, that's fascinating to look at. And folks, if you are just listening in and you would like to see what we're talking about, you can find all of the video recordings on our YouTube. Go to, I don't know what our YouTube link is yet.
I don't know either. We've got Gadzooks versus Seashell with Gadzooks on the home map, but Gadzooks will instead choose Arabia, the default map. So we have Gadzooks Mongols versus Seashell's Indians. Gadzooks has Mongols as the unique civ. Seashell did not. Seashell, though, very comfortable with the Mongol civ. Is that right?
Let's just say that Seashell and Gadzooks are both Mongol mains. Now, Seashell is primarily an arena player. Gadzooks hates Nomad. And this is an absolute grudge match from the beginning because Seashell is probably so upset that he doesn't get to play Mongols. He also knows how to beat them. And the Indian civilization has a powerful unit called the Imperial Camel, which is very good against Mongols. But will Seashell be able to find the boom required to get there? I'm not sure. But let's find out.
Right. Seashell in the south side of the map with a, I mean, it's Arabia. Not an easy place to wall.
These are both very tough maps.
Yeah, Gadzooks on the north side, also terrible map to wall. That's what you get when you choose Arabia. So what do you think about Mongols versus Indians here?
So my assumption is that Gadzooks is going to try and get a faster uptime and just get in there with scouts and disrupt Seashell's plans. Seashell's going to be anticipating the potential of a fast uptime though. So how
already moving forward? Already moving forward with the scout, I think. I would expect a lame from Seashell.
It looks like Seashell wants to, right? He doesn't seem to be committing. Where does he go now? It's tough because the Mongols get a scouting bonus in terms of how far their scouts see. So it's easier for them to maneuver their scout around yours if they do find it. You do want to be wary. I think Seashell is going to play this a little slowly. I think he's going to feel confident in his civilization here and his knowledge of the civ matchup. But Gadzooks is absolutely no slouch.
Seashell has found all the sheep, I believe. I'm not sure why we're not seeing a lame.
Because of fear or lack thereof would be my guess. I like to lame in situations where I either just want to like openly declare war against my opponent early, or I have no idea what I'm doing.
Mike, we have Mike Jet coming in with a rate of 9. Welcome, Mike and company.
Mike Jet, another Kings League player.
Second, Rhino coming in for Gadzooks, so that lame, if it was coming, will not make it. So Gadzooks will get the full hunt bonus.
Mill coming up for Gadzooks as well, as Seashell gets the second Rhino. And the scout from Gadzooks hovering around the woodline of Seashell. Are they going to go for some damage here? So interested to see where this goes. Gadzooks taking a significant score lead early. A lot of that is going to come surely from scouting bonus, just due to the fact that Gadzooks has picked Mongols. Gadzooks has seen a lot more of Seashell's base than I think he would like. He's only just now starting to really uncover the forward buildings of Gadzooks. It looks like he will scout a forward gold, and Gadzooks now looking to pressure with the scout. No loom for Seashell, but Gadzooks' scout is under the town center, takes half of the HP. Gone.
Good reaction from Seashell, very quick.
Absolutely. Very aggressive play from Gadzooks there. I wonder, did Gadzooks just not know that the town center... No, I don't think they knew that the town center was there. I think they knew it was close, but I don't think they thought it was that close.
All right, Feudal coming in for Gadzooks, looks like. Yeah, right behind this villager and this loom. Not really going to be a fast Feudal. It's going to be 22 pop up. Seashell going up. Wow. 25 pop up.
Interesting.
Fast castle.
This is going to be. I mean, there's no.
Oh, two of those are militia.
Rush. Oh my. Seashell.
It's a very late drush, right?
Yeah, I would say that if you want to do if I do a two militia drush, I like to have them out around like 16, 17 or 17, 18 pop. But all the same, it ain't when you drush, it's the way that you drush it, you know, as the old song goes. 1 militia out, 3 militia out for Gadzooks. Gadzooks is ready to fight back, but Seashell has a lot more scout HP. Seashell going for that scout. Wow, look at the micro fighting here. These are Mongols players in Action Boxer. This is so fascinating. We found ourselves watching a mirror matchup, not of civilizations, but of preferred civilization. You have to think that the playstyle of the Mongols has somehow bled its way into the soul of both these players, and look at them maneuvering their militia like they are Mangudai. And all is forgotten but the engagement.
Very interesting cat and mouse. Both players keeping their idle TC low. 3 seconds for Gadzooks, 9 seconds for Seashell.
Gadzooks pushes Seashell away from that archery range. So, Seashell takes the fight on the hill. The scout is kind of bugging out, though. Gadzooks pulls back. I think Gadzooks was afraid of the hill there.
Both players in feudal. Archery range is coming down. Gadzooks getting men-at-arms.
Housed, though. Wait, maybe not.
Eagle upgrades for Seashell immediately. Horse collar, double bit axe.
And the men-at-arms from Gadzooks now chasing away this small drushing force. And if you are new to Age of Empires, folks, a drush is a Dark Age rush. It is generally done with militia. However, we are friends with some people who like to do it with villagers. And Seashell has been very disruptive. A militia from Seashell goes down to the men-at-arms of Gadzooks.
Now, not taking a lot of HP, not taking a lot of vills with it, but the militia did take a lot of attention from Gadzooks, and that's probably the most important thing right here.
And right now, Gadzooks has the investment into these 3 militia that have gone all the way out to men-at-arms. Will they make it pay off?
Seashell following up with scouts and an archery range. Both players kind of walling, putting down houses and production buildings in the form of a wall. Seashell starting with some palisade walls. The scouts now hitting Gadzooks for the second rush. Second feudal aggression since hitting feudal age.
The archers from Gadzooks just have not found a shot. 3 scouts from Seashell. No upgrades on any of the units. Seashell's going for the fight. Gadzooks pulling back. The men-at-arms are getting in position as well. And Seashell takes off. He's out of there.
Military numbers 11-6 in Gadzooks' favor, but Seashell has the mobility with 5. Where's the 6 military? 5 scouts. I don't know where the 6th one is. Oh, it's a skirmisher. A couple skirmishers at Seashell's base for defense. No villagers dead yet, but Seashell's definitely hurt quite a few. Small walls coming up for Gadzooks.
Yeah, and that can be a viable strategy, I think, especially with fishing ships. But right now, Seashell is really looking for serious damage. Gadzooks trying to get up quick walls here using houses. This is troublesome if Seashell decides to go archers, but I think as the Indians, unless it's cav archers, we're probably not going to see any.
Seashell could wipe those archers with these scouts.
I think if Seashell got +1 armor on those scouts, he could. But right now, it's the men-at-arms. I think Seashell could be a little more aggressive with these scouts. However, I think Seashell also has a game plan. He does take a fight, though, now on the men-at-arms. 2 of them are down. Oh, he pulls out before killing the 3rd. Only loses 1 scout, though. 2nd one to the archers. Still, he's found another hole into Gadzooks' base. And he's in with 1 scout. That scout makes it directly in front of those archers, takes off. Like, I don't want to be in here by myself. But Seashell has walled up now. Almost. There's 1 small hole.
Yeah, right there by the archery range, I think. Scouts still roaming Gadzooks' base. For no villagers being killed, Gadzooks has 3 minutes of idle TC time. Seashell has 1 minute. That's turned into a 5 villager lead for Seashell.
Seashell kills Gadzooks' scout. 4 scouts running around from Seashell. Oh, they're on stand ground. One of them dies to the archers defensively placed for Gadzooks under their town center. And the men-at-arms, there's 1 left, so technically a man-at-arms. And it is a hero!
1 HP left on that men-at-arms.
And kills 3 scouts from blue.
Now Gadzooks can get archers over to Seashell, but is pulling back. Nope. Committing again.
That poor hero man-at-arms dies to a lion. But yeah, it looks like Gadzooks does want to go forward. 19 archers. And no one's clicked up to castle. What is happening?
Seashell going now with 42 vills into castle.
42 vills into castle. And Gadzooks is trying to get into the base.
Those defensive skirmishers by Seashell. Very good call. Probably a natural reaction.
I do like it.
We're seeing bloodlines and skullbarding armor for Seashell. Seashell's going to commit to knights, you imagine? Seashell might have accidentally found the hole. I don't know if Gadzooks noticed. Second stable coming up for Seashell.
So an update, folks. 65% of the way to Castle Age for Seashell. 40% for Gadzooks. Seashell getting forging now. And 2 stables coming up. I'm not sure about this. Could Seashell, with his 21 farms, be going straight into light cavalry? Not producing any scouts. Camels, of course, being countered by archers. Gadzooks also going for the second armor upgrade for cavalry. No, the first. Seashell getting the second, but goes camels. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, considering how many archers are on the field.
Maybe you skip the archers and just raid?
I mean, unless he's anticipating that Gadzooks will be going for cavalry.
Archers by Gadzooks caught in a crossfire from skirmishers.
Yeah.
And camels.
And no crossbow upgrade at the moment, no bodkin at the moment, so I think it's fine for Seashell here. But Gadzooks not quite finding the dream micro fight here. Those skirmishers behind these camels are really causing so much damage. Gadzooks loses all of the archers, and Seashell is ready to pounce. Any second now, there he goes. And there's a hole into Gadzooks' base. Is Seashell gonna find it?
So a Cav Archer switch for Gadzooks.
Nope, the hole's filled. Never mind.
That always feels like an awkward transition to me. No matter what your eco set up for it. It always feels so hard to get into Cav Archers. Because you need a certain amount of numbers. And these camels can actually keep up with them.
This is tough right now for Seashell, for Gadzooks though. Because what does Gadzooks want to make to counter?
Ooh, hole in the wall.
Oh.
This is why we all hate New Arabia.
I love it, but Gadzooks right now is probably regretting the choice. Wow, this is significant. There is 6 Cav Archer out here, but Seashell has a beautiful counter to that. The camels are all over Gadzooks right now. Villagers are dropping. It's already a 5-vill deficit. Seashell is ahead in economy now. More camels coming out too, and there is still a force of skirmishers.
We have camels on the front for Gadzooks space. Camels in the back, trying to make some gains on a wood line.
Seashell is just taking the most. Look at this offensive strategy. He distracts the Cav Archers with the camels trying to get in the wall, then sneaks some around to fight the Cav Archers. But wow, and then strangely enough, after that happens, he does make his way through the wall. He is going for the villagers. I think you need to kill the army first here, because he's going to get a few villager kills, but he's losing camels, and those cavalry archers are still there. In the meantime, the villagers are idle. Seashell's in on this wood line now. These scimitars slashing away at these villagers. unfortunately, the camels just don't do enough damage to be finding kills on these villagers. That's why I think he needs to go for these cavalry first.
Yeah, Gadzooks has lost no villagers. Oh no,
Wow.
four villagers. My bad.
Yeah, but that was from earlier. Like these last three clashes. The thing is, as we were saying before, these villagers are all really low now.
Yeah, a lot of weak vills, but very few kills.
So now kills are coming in, and now Seashell is starting to get some damage on these cav archers.
He probably could have wiped the cav archers by now if he had focused on them.
He could have if he had focused them with the camels, or at least forced Gadzooks to really fight with Micro. But now the rest of these camels are stuck on the outside. And what's Seashell going to do? How is he going to get in? His eco is a fair but stronger. 17 villagers ahead now. But Cav Archer are a great tool to use in a macro military sense. Will Gadzooks get an opportunity to mass them and break out of their base?
So going after the barracks. I guess if you're going to break in, taking out the barracks is nice. You at least prevent pikes from coming out. Town center coming up for Gadzooks. That'll be the second town center. Seashell's already on 2 town centers. Barracks goes down so fast to Indian camels.
Camels doing additional damage to buildings, folks.
Cav archers.
Wow. And he gets the fight as well. Those cav archers just falling prey to these camels. And now there are so many camels in the base. Too many. Too many camels called by Gadzooks. GG. Well played by both players.
I feel like camels are a hard thing to factor into a game plan. Yes or no?
No.
Did you say no?
Well, like anything, the classic answer in Age of Empires, it depends. I've played games with Seashell where Camel was like the glaringly obvious choice, and Camel was not produced. Sometimes they are not in the wheelhouse of players in the same way that knights are. But the truth is about camels, you can counter them with monks, you can counter them with crossbow, you can counter them with pikes. You can also just build other camels. So there were definitely options for Gadzooks here. Cav Archer into camels is a tough one because if you have to micro your Cav Archer, and if you get caught, the camels do quite well. A bigger issue with these Indian camels is that Indian stable units get an extra pierce armor in the Castle Age, and if Seashell had made it to Imperial Age, we would have seen an additional pierce armor on top of that, so 2 in total. So right now, these camels have 3 pierce armor, which means that these cav archer are only doing 5 damage a hit.
That was a good game. Fast game. Not as fast as our previous one. That might go down as fastest game ever.
Who knows? It honestly could. I think I think that, I don't know how you feel about this, Boxer. I feel like every game, in a sense, except perhaps it was tough to say with the Clatchet Aristotle game because it was so short. We didn't really get to see enough of the matchup to know how the players would have fared against each other moving forward. But I would say for the rest of the games, they all felt quite close, and it felt like it could have gone either way. I'm really excited to see that as these players improve, these matchups will get tighter, more challenging, closer, and new strategic ideas will come out. So I'm just so excited to tune in for all of these players' next games to see how they've developed their strategies.
Yeah. What's interesting is their next game together will be Seashell having home map. So here, Gadzooks was home player and lost. I'd like to see how the home player, away player pans out over the rest of this season.
Well, we made it through the games for today. Um, I kind of feel like now would be a good time for us to distill some of what we've seen into some general insights on the league as it is. One thing that comes to mind is that these players all really seemed like they wanted to win. I don't know if you got that feeling. It just seemed like every player went into the match like and even in situations that seemed so dire and losing, were willing to just keep throwing down and just keep trying just to see if they could find a way back into it. I did not see any early GGs. I did not see any games where I felt like the person didn't make an effort to at least come back.
I wouldn't even call Clutch it's an early GG. I
No,
think it
I
was
thought about
it
that as I
was
was saying
well
that as well.
it was well timed. He knew it was over. I
It
think
was
any of us would
comedically
have
timed,
called it then.
right? I think you can see though he didn't just say GG and resign. He had to put in the whole like, "Welp, I guess that's the end," because you could see for him, he's like, "Man, that's it." What? That's it? Can we redo, please? You know.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone's going to be going back to the drawing board. I think the victors will all feel pleased and energized by their victories. I hope that the losers will feel energized by their losses. I'm really keen. I play a lot of games with a lot of these players, so I'm keen to see. I'm going to be chatting with a lot of them in the week to come as we lead up to the next episode. Um, and just see how they felt about their performance and where they're taking it next. And so next time I'll definitely be able to bring in some pearls of wisdom that we can have distilled out from these.
I've enjoyed just in these first 5 games seeing the personality and the approach to the game come out in different players and seeing how that compares with their opponents. I just think it's fascinating that just in one game you can get a sense for how they approach, um, macro game, aggressive versus defensive. What kind of are they? A strategist? Are they a tactician? You can
Yeah.
see some of the players maybe have really good micro, but they don't have a high level plan of what they're doing, or vice versa. So very interesting to see all this come together and see
Yeah.
them face off against one another.
Yeah. I'm thinking what I would like to do is run through a couple of my highlight game turning moments.
Yeah,
Two that come to mind right now. I felt like in this game, I'll apply this for the recency effect. In this game between Seashell and Gadzooks, when those militia were sort of lining up to fight each other, there was a lot of micro going on, which was so fun to watch the two Mongols player, the Mangudai nerds, facing off with the microed militia and scouts behind that. I felt like Seashell took a really favorable early engagement on a hill that Gadzooks pulled back from. I felt like after that moment, Seashell had all the confidence in his court and was able to be militarily aggressive from there out. I felt like that was just one of those little turning moments for me. Uh, do you have any that come to mind for you throughout the whole course of these games?
would have been a good question to ask on the front end, so I could keep that in
Yeah, you
mind.
can cut. You can think of it, then cut this part out, and
Yeah,
then interject your very wise. You could take a few days, think about it, and just insert the soundbite. Um, Another one for me that was a huge turning point. I think what you were talking about, this kind of sparked this from what you were talking about, the personalities of the players coming out. How we could see two players with such different play styles end up in these sort of awkward situations where they're both trying to get up a castle, and it's like you're both just throwing different stuff at the fight and seeing what works, and then to see the player who emerges, like when specifically when Gwen and Disco were trying to get up their castles. I felt like that was just such a huge turning point in the game. And what's so interesting to me about that is both players didn't need it to be that way. It seemed like they both just kind of decided we're settling everything right now because I hate you.
Yeah, I do think that's probably a key turning point. Not when the castles went up, but when Gwen's castle went down, and then seconds later, the final ram from Disco went down. If she
Was
had killed that,
just
if she had
oh
killed that ram earlier, or even took a hammer to that castle to repair it, she had tons of stone. That castle staying up would have, I mean, well, castle going down put a huge hole straight into her economy. That, of
just
course,
imagine
an aggressive
the
player like Combat is going
glee.
to jump into.
Just imagine the glee in Disco's heart when he saw that castle go down, and Gwen, like you could see it was over. I could almost feel her going like, you know what? I'm quitting on principle. Like she's like she was typing as she was getting raided. That's what I knew for certain it was over. Was just like she's typing and she's getting, and then she started getting raided and then hit enter on this long sentence. You're like, oh no, you could have maybe saved those bills, but you had to say something about that castle.
I, I like that. I think T90's advice is 6 rams to take out a castle, and Combat Disco says best I can do is 3. Just sends 3 rams in
Yeah. Yeah, and that
and does
six
it.
ram trick is so great though. I use that all the time. I used that earlier today in a game, and it was in a tournament. In fact, it's so great. But when it's 3 rams, 2 rams. I mean, you can see it. It feels like Combat Disco is trying to get away with doing as little as possible. He's like a kid that doesn't want to do his homework because he wants to go play outside. He's like, I know I need to build a castle, but I'll just do it with 3 villagers, or I know I need to destroy that castle. I'll just do it with 2 rams.
Going back to Stierker and Yo-Yo Dude, that one's a tough one to think of one moment. I feel like that was really just opening,
Or
an opening decision.
that's. I feel like when Yo-Yo lost that boar, I feel like that's when it was over.
He lost the boar.
The when he lost the villager to the
Oh,
boar.
villagers the boar. Yeah, maybe. I know a lot of people say that's a huge deal, losing a villager early. I don't think that was a huge deal.
I think for Yo-Yo mentally,
Mentally, maybe, but not really in the economy. But I think the archers hitting that wood line from then on out, it just set the tone because Stierker never left Yo-Yo's base.
it was yeah, and he didn't necessarily push into it as hard as I think he could have,
Yeah.
but he just kind of cordoned him off.
What else you got? What other insights or analysis did you have watching these games?
Well, honestly, it just makes me excited for the games to come. So, do we want to take a look at some of the upcoming matches?
So games remaining to be played in week 1. King Zondar and Captain Zhao in the Samurai Conference. It's our highest elo. Ivy Daily and Azure Sentry still have to play. I think they're playing tonight or maybe tomorrow. We have Mike Jet and Gunnar Gates.
Is going to be an absolute gong show of a game. I look, skip the comedy club. Come watch Mike Jet 22. It's so perfect that Mike Jet and Gunnar Gates are playing in the Karambit conference together. It's just going to crack me up. That's like the comedy conference to me.
I am
No offense.
very.
No offense to anybody. I'm just
This is
saying.
this is one set where I wish this was a best of 3 or a best of 5, just to see what these two can come up with.
Look,
Uh,
between the two of them, their game will probably go so long. Actually, it could be over very quickly. It could. I think it could be like it's going to be like a 40-minute feudal age, or like a 2-hour post imp endeavor.
I imagine Mike Jet douching Gunnar Gates, Gunnar Gates surviving it, and then douching Mike Jet back wherever he forms a TZ, and it just being a brawl.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it could be like Mike controls the entire center of the map, and then Gunner has like 6 tiles around the entire edge. Like we could get into situations like that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if somebody won it without any villagers and they still won.
Yep. Chimpoli to Duke Canada. That should be a pretty.
It'd be really interesting because the way that those two guys play the game, I think will there's a high compatibility rate for that being an enticing spot as well.
Yeah, a little more of a buttoned up game, I would expect. Than
I think so as well. I think it's going to be a bit more straightforward, and I think it will go longer. I don't think there'll be any game-ending aggression until Imperial Age.
yeah. Now Champolin has been sick,
Hmm.
so he mentioned taking a forfeit here. We might just take a rain delay, and
We just force him to play.
we might just yeah just not you got to play anyways. We're doing
Yeah,
forfeits.
not only.
Or we might
How
take a
sick
rain
do you have to
delay.
be? How sick do you have to be to not be able to play a video game for half an hour?
That's a good question. A good question. And then down at our lowest conference, of course, this is the group that is 1,000 1.1K. 95 bricks will face off with Mango Lord.
Well, hey, Boxer, I had an idea, but before I share it, do you want to just finish up this?
Yep. And Tellus Forest Games will play Green Bay Burger. Green Bay also a known uh, pre-barrack strush or a strategist of the douche. And Green Bay took Persians as his first pick. So
I wonder what he'll do.
as a man who has only ever played Persians on the ladder and has only ever douched with them, I gotta believe Tellus Forest Games is up for a douche and should probably study how to
I
defend
wouldn't
against that.
be shocked.
So, what do you have?
Now, here's the thing. We could call the episode right there. However, we do have a fresh recording just posted in the Discord. It is 95 bricks versus Mango Lord. What do you think?
That's tempting, but let's save it for next time.
All right, folks. You're going to have to tune in next time. Mango Lord versus 95 bricks. I almost don't want to say what I think is going to happen because it is going to be ridiculous, I'm sure. I saw Bricks preparing for his match and it was absurd.
Well, this has been fun. Thanks all the players for
Look,
playing.
here's the point, people. If you want to see, look, I'll be frank. I'll pick Frank. If you want to see, if you want to see Bricks, if you want to see Man Farms 985 Bricks represent his clan, okay, against the Aussie Mango Lord, drinker of beers, you got to tune in next episode. So don't miss it. Boxer, when can we expect that one to be filmed? And when can we expect it to be live?
It's a good question. Next week, sometime.
Next
I
week,
don't know.
folks. You heard it
We'll
here
get it.
first.
I'd like to.
Next week.
I'd like to record the rest of these games all at once. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left to play. One of them might be down tonight. So once those 5 games are all in, we'll sit back down and finish off week 1. And at the end of that, maybe do a look ahead into week 2. For the players, continue to play. You've got your first 3 games. You don't have to play them in any specific order. We will cast them week 1 and week 2 and week 3, but play them whenever you can. And yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Very good opening night, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of you pull out your strategies and your home maps and your civilizations.
So, Mr. MBA, any productivity tips for our listeners before they go to make it so that listening to this was, in fact, worth their time?
Yeah, on YouTube or on Spotify, wherever you watch videos or listen to podcasts, you can actually turn this on to 1.5 or 2 times speed, then you can listen to all of this faster.
A great idea.
So give that a shot.
Boxer makes a very good chipmunk.
Not bad.
Actually, no, I think they changed the technology now, haven't they? Did I just show my age?
Nope. All right,
Okay,
Mackie,
well.
close us out.
Folks, you have been listening to Kings of Age, the official podcast for the Kings League, the only seasonal league in Age of Empires 2. I am Malagasy Mackie. With me is mi amigo Boxer Saint, saying so long, see you next week, and put that work in. Good luck, have fun.
Do something. I need to raid somebody. Get 20. I'll turn the volume off. They can't hear you. You want to raid Gwen or Iron Chef? You should at least get the viewers. He has no alerts. Oh, there she goes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm stoked.
We have a Mustang raid. Thanks, buddy.
Oh shit.
Welcome to the Kings League, baby.
Is this part getting cut?
This I don't know if we'll cut this or not.
Raiding party!